fantastic and something special. Just before we go to the children, the young people, quite know what PC to call them. I'm just going to say a few words on behalf really of the Fairtrade Forum. And I was asked to speak, a very grand title that Jane gave me, which was to talk about the value and culture of trading fairly. That's very grand, Jane. I first became involved and interested in fair trade as a concept and a movement about 10 years ago now. And to me it seems so obvious. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do your bit, to play your part, to take a step forward, to help farmers, developers and growers in the developing world? Why wouldn't you want to do that? People who work long days, often in rather unforgiving conditions, to ensure coffee, tea, chocolates, bananas and countless other goods arrive on our sparkling supermarket shelves. What the official Fairtrade label does, and I don't know how many times we hear it today because it's an important message, is act as an urgently needed reminder to us, the consumer, of the backstory of the items that we buy, and why buying items with that all-important Fairtrade label on them is so important. To be ethical in our shopping choices, to tilt the world and its system of trade permanently in favour of some of its poorest inhabitants, to trade fairly. And what a 10 years this has been for the fair trade movement. And let's just look at some of the figures. Over 1.5 million farmers and workers in fair trade certified producer organisations. There are now 1,210 fair trade certified producer organisations in 74 countries. 25% of all farmers and workers in fair trade are women, 46% on plantations, 22% in small farmer organisations. The UK is one of the world's leading fair trade markets, with more products and more awareness of fair trade than just about anywhere else. Almost 1 in 3 bananas sold in the UK is fair trade, and sales in fair trade in the UK in 2012 amounted to, this is all fair trade products, amounted to £1.57 billion. Big business. There are over 4,500 fair trade certified products for sale. It's not just tea, coffee and sugar, there's a whole load more through retail and catering outlets in the UK. Amazing figures, big figures. But behind each of them are real people whose lives are being changed. And for me, it's when I hear testimonies from those people that I see the real value of trading fairly, and why we must continue to ensure that we work towards building this movement. And talking of building, one of the great effects of buying fair trade is the impact of the fair trade premium. Now, the fair trade premium is an additional sum of money over and above the fair trade price for the individual farmer or grower, which goes into a communal fund for workers and farmers to use as they see fit to improve their social, economic and environmental conditions. The producers determine what is most important to them, be it education or healthcare for their children, improving their business or building vital infrastructure such as roads and bridges for their community. Rahel, a worker on the Kabina tea estate in Tanzania, says the following of the fair trade premium. The fair trade premium was spent on the construction of Lehogosa Primary School, which most of the workers, they loved that school very much. The school has around 170 pupils. Before the school was built, some of them had to walk 10 kilometres to another school. Another value of trading fairly is that fair trade can provide access to finance, producer support and expertise in tackling climate change, supporting long-term environmental sustainability. Fair trade also improves access to agricultural services like organic training and premium markets, and as a result, farmers have an incentive to farm better and to sell more. And maybe most importantly of all, in my view at least, is the social value. Farmers and workers who choose to participate in fair trade often feel a real sense of control over their own future, possibly for the first time, with greater power and a greater voice. Fair trade is empowering communities by helping them organise into cooperatives, as we've heard, and improve their negotiating position within the supply chain. Fair trade can provide producer support and expertise in deepening gender equality. Fair trade can support workers to realise their rights and negotiate the terms and conditions of their work through trade unions and collective bargaining. And as I've mentioned, investment of the Fairtrade premium by cooperatives in community development projects like improved health facilities and better access to education for children and adults in improving the quality of life in rural communities. This social value is, to my mind, the Fairtrade achievement. It changes lives for the better. It helps to reduce and take people out of poverty. It empowers communities and it enriches lives. This, more than anything else, is why I support and campaign for fair trade. And there's another value too, the impact on those of us in the UK who do the campaigning. And you've heard about the fun we have as part of the Fair Trade Forum. It's a wonderful community of people who believe in doing small and sometimes big things to change the world. You can support fair trade in big and small ways, but the main way is by buying fair trade. And as I've mentioned, there's now more than 4,000 fair trade products. More and more retailers now sell fair trade, as we've heard, and I hope that today's talks and sessions, even despite some of the bugs and gremlins that we've had, have enabled you to see and appreciate the value of fair trade. And I want to end with two quotes from a hero of mine, the late civil rights activist Martin Luther King. He said, "An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And he said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, and it bends towards justice." By supporting, buying, campaigning for fair trade, we're helping to bend that arc ever more towards justice. And that's world changing. Thanks very much.